That's true. Now, the last question I want to ask you, do you think, you know, from a few years ago, 1080p was like the standard. Do you think the video resolution of everything has moved on to 4K? Like the base resolution of everything?
So I often throw this back and forth in my head. I would say like my initial knee-jerk reaction is no. Because like I say, like this is where most people are consuming everything. Laptops is where most people are consuming everything. And most laptops and most phones only have 1080p full HD screens, even a lot of TVs. Now, I mean, TVs are a little more advanced because they mass produce them. It's more of a consumer higher end, but like higher reach consumer product. And so with that in mind, like nobody's watching your 4K projects in 4K. They're watching them in 1080p. However, I will say that Make Art Now, Josh Yo did a video that he shot in 8K or he shot in 6K and upscaled to 8K. And though you're not watching that on a 1080p, on an 8K screen, you're still getting that depth of image coming through the 1080p. And so I would say 4K has become the standard just because it captures a deeper image experience. It captures more depth in the video. Even if somebody's not watching it back at 4K or 6K, let's say, because I shoot 6K B-raw, I still know that there's more depth in that shot. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's quite a few interesting points you actually touched there. First of all, I do think like from a few years ago, you can see that actually we've moved quite far from 1080p. Like we're more talking about 4K in a lot of different things. Like I realized this when recently one of my family members said like, oh, can you just help us find, you know, if you're a tech guy in your family, then they always come to you. Oh, can you help us find this 4K, just like a cheap TV, you know, they didn't say 4K, sorry. They said, you know, just doesn't have to be like high resolution. So I thought, okay, we'll just get like a 1080p, you know, a TV. And honestly, I couldn't find one unless you go like very small. Like
TVs are hard to find that way.
Like just a monitor size one. But if you get like a TV like 40 over, or even 32 and above, they were all started to be 4K. And then I realized, wow, they don't produce like TVs over 50 inches or 45 inches with 1080p. It's all 4K or above, which is really like pushing the standard how it, you know, what we're consuming. Then I'm seeing like Sony has released, Sony's like one of the ones who really has pushed the phone screen resolution. I think Sony, maybe there's some other phones have 4K screen on that tiny little phone size. Like this could be 4K, which is like crazy, you know. And I think a lot of the phones actually record 4K, you know, footage.
Which is a like weird thought. You can record 4K, but you can't watch it back in 4K. That's
interesting,
weird.
Isn't it?
That's super weird.
So I think we're really pushing the 4K to be standard. I think we're somewhere, I think we're probably closer to 4K standard than 1080p standard.
100%.
You know, I don't think we're 100% there yet because like you said, you know, phone screens and most consumed like phone, it's still 1080p. But at the same time, I think a lot of people edit in 1080p, but then up-res or export their footage to 4K. So they're up-resing it because they just get, you know, more resolution out of it. I know DaVinci Resolve editors, I did like a poll recently on my channel and I said, okay, what's your timeline resolution when you're editing? And I think about 60 or more % of people said they edit on 1080p timeline and then export it to 4K or something like that, just because the timeline, you know, performance is going to be much smoother. Which is interesting.
Well, I mean, I edit on a 4K timeline with a 6K footage. And then edit it and then export it 4K. So it's kind of weird. I
wonder if we should start exporting at 8K just for the heck of it.
Just for the fun of it. Upload it. Yeah, I would
uploading
like to.
It and then getting like very crisp image. Do you think
the algorithm?
Do you think the algorithm favors 8K over 4K?
I'm sure it does. It always favors things that are better and more niche.
Thanks guys for watching. Likes if you enjoyed it, subs if you'd like to see more, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Bye bye.